Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux. This is Mollusk, and we've got a bit of a fun one tonight. We're playing the ozymandius scenario from the Crossroads rulebook. Briefly, there's an attacker and a defender. The attacker sets up their master in the centre of the table and equips them with the Jewel of Ozymandius, which is an upgrade that gives them a 0 action that can only be used once per game, called Help Me Karen One Last Time. All models within Pulse 6 suffer 3 damage and get pushed 6 inches away, and then you add 1 Soulstone to your cache, so pretty good. The defender has to set up 3 non-leader models anywhere within 14 inches of the centre, and then you pretty much go at it as normal. Oh, except that every turn you flip a card and there's a chance that all the terrain could turn into hazardous terrain, or everything that becomes that isn't already terrain becomes severe terrain. When a model that doesn't start on the table is activated, it gets placed into base contact with any of the table edges and can be deployed so long as it's 8 inches away from the nearest enemy model. Okay, so terrain, well, we've got some forests, pretty terrain heavy, buildings that are impassable, ruins and rubble and severe terrain, walls, all that good stuff. My opponent is the attacker, and so he deployed his Rasputina on the centre. Presumably she's making her escape from a Ten Thunders re-education house. But we've got some guards on patrol. I chose to deploy both my snipers and Toshiro the Daimyo, who's behind these trees. And the plan is to blast the crap out of Raspy in the opening activations of the first turn. So here we go, turn 1, and yes, I did forget my cards. So I'm borrowing Joden's, what are they? You got these from a cracker. Mini cards. Yeah, so that's not a bad hand. Rasputina goes first, as the attacker goes first in this scenario. She focuses and attempts to blast my forward sniper, but I cheat in the king and he misses, and then she just pushes and walks as far away as she can. So I go with Toshiro, I move him forward, drop a scheme marker, and use a 0 action to give both my snipers focus. Hell yeah. But unfortunately he brings on Snowstorm and whisks Rasputina away before I can start firing some shots. And now I'm really a bit stumped for targets, as they're now behind the jail. And this is where we realised how fun this scenario is, because having to be outside of 8 inches of another model when you come on really gets quite technical, with lots of opportunity to deny space for your opponent, and also makes schemes like Leave Your Mark so much better. Didn't see just how good that would have been. So basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing on Kang and someone else, the Emberling, and I drop some decoy markers trying to make him think that I'm doing convict labour or something. He's brought some Ronin, and they're fantastic because it means I can't charge them. And I'm starting to regret my oh-so-clever plan of starting with the snipers, as it would be great to have them sitting on the outflank positions, having some nice firing lanes. At the end of the turn, things look like this. He's got some Whore Cats that have slipped in behind me and dropped a scheme marker in my backfield. This Ronin came on, dropped a scheme marker and moved to block this marker that I dropped. Oh, that's right, my snipers shot at the cats, both cats, and completely missed, despite the double focus that I remembered to put on one of them. Miss Feng came in and killed the cats, because if you've got more than an 8-inch charge, then you're pretty lethal in this first turn. And basically my plan at this point is to use Miss Feng to clear up this part of the board. Mark the Ronin for death so it can't seppuku itself and then kill it. So, and then use the Emberling, who's going to be dropping scrap markers on his way across the board, to just quickly jump into the midst in the mid-game turns and start kung-fuing some asses. I'm thinking Jackie's job is going to be to pick up these scheme markers and take over from Miss Feng, holding the outflank position. I know it's not called outflank, I'm just banking on the name at the moment, when Miss Feng goes charging off towards the middle. You may also notice this Wendigo in my backfield. I really wasn't very good at holding my line, and basically he paralysed one of my snipers. So we go to turn 2, I Soulstone for cards, because my hand wasn't very good. Joden the 13 Fates won the initiative, and his Wendigo charged and devoured my sniper, which I was rather unhappy about, because it means that it doesn't drop a corpse marker, and it made Rasputina fast, and that's going to be unpleasant. So what's going on? I was worried about Kang. I thought Rasputina might come and try to nobble him, so he's moved back over here, and I wasn't thinking, and he's no longer in range to score for the inspection. Damn it! Toshiro put the thing that makes the minions go fast on the surviving sniper, gave him the lethal lunacy trigger to push him out of the woods, and then just ran up to where to in front of the jail to hold the centre. Should make it harder for Raspy to get a bead on him, and he's now placed to start summoning when the bodies start hitting the floor. Miss Feng decided to remove the scheme marker that he dropped. Really not sure that was a good move. I didn't know whether or not it was a decoy. Turns out it wasn't, but I chose to give up Mark for Death on this Ronin, and I really should have done that. So Miss Feng just walks at the Ronin. That disguise is really annoying. Kicks her a couple of times, and she's now in her last wound. She then flurries. I Soulstone and Black Joker. Rather frustrating, so I get hit again. I think I Soulstone again, and this time get the push away. So hey, at least May didn't take 3 hits. So this was a move I quite liked. These cats came to come sit by my Emberling. Then the Emberling walked around them and cooled down to drop some scrap. So then when my sniper got the chance to go, it used its fast actions to walk one around here, give the cats Mark for Death, and then hit them for some decent damage. And the sniper is also at the same time in range to score for the centre. I think Snowstorm blasted into the cats' melee and hit the cats a few times. They red joker their defence and take no damage, so I'm happy with that all in all. But then Rasputina goes and just kills everybody, which stops me scoring for extraction. Bit annoyed with my use of Chiaki. I think when she activated, she just wandered around here and shot the cats to do some piddly damage. If I'd marked the Ronin for death with Miss Feng, I could have shot her quite easily, I reckon. And that would free up her whole next turn for Feng to come get involved in the centre. But I also could have moved Chiaki up here to be in scoring range at the centre. I didn't because I worried that Rasputina's blasts would get everyone, and I wanted to minimise the damage, but yeah, that's going to hurt now. Going into turn 3, there's my hand, and I've been hanging on to these 8s and 7s for May's Rail Walk, which I'll let you in on a secret now, I never get to use. I lose the initiative, I forget what goes, but basically May marks for death and kills the Ronin. The Wendigo just starts dropping markers to score for leave your mark. Kang gets back over to be in place for inspection and to engage the Ronin. And this Ice Gammon's moved up and made all their claws sharp or something. Gives them that extra bit of damage, I think. But a move I thought was quite interesting was Toshiro. So he went around the corner, is now engaged Snowstorm. I think he must have just been out of range of Rasputina. I decided to summon a Kamenu from the piece of scrap dropped by the Emberling, and then use the zero action to make it fast. So when it got the chance to go, it walked up, used its zero action to place in base contact with Snowstorm, and then took its Guard the Soul action. So basically it's tied all 3 of the Rasputina models down in close combat, and if anybody uses any castings, I get to attack them. I'm not under any illusions, it's not going to survive this turn, but it just needs to take the flak off Toshiro so he can survive to the next turn and summon from these scrap markers and get me corpse markers and get me back into business. And then my plan is that Chiaki's going to run in through the building and get hopefully within range to score for extraction this turn. And things start off well, even though I've taken some damage from summoning. Snowstorm fails to kill my hard to kill Kamenu. But I've forgotten about the Jewel of Ozymandius, or whatever it's called. Rasputina suggests that Karen might want to help her one last time, and basically blasts the crap out of everything close to her. Everything around her takes 3 damage and is pushed 6 inches away, I think that is. And yep, my Kamenu bought it at this point, and now my scrap marker is in that ever so useful position all the way over in the armpit of nowhere. And Rasputina starts using Toshiro as target practice. I've got hard to wound +2 and a couple of soul stones left, so I'm hopeful he's going to survive this. Yep, that was a miscalculation. And that, my friends, is a lot of damage. Too much, in fact, for my Toshiro. And now I am royally screwed. So with there being no point in trying to get to the centre, Chiaki goes and holds the flank, and at least we score inspection. Turn 4, I'm out of soul stones, and just can't get a break with getting over a 10. I win the initiative, and Miss Feng vents some steam by nobbling Snowstorm. Not being able to rail walk means I couldn't mark it for death before I killed him, and in retrospect I should have just walked up to him and marked him for death, as a slim chance for points next turn is better than no points at all. I took some damage from his explosion, and I wasn't joking when I said she's venting some steam. I did get the trigger, but it's hard to argue with a red joker from a souped up Ice Gammon inspired Rasputina, who's still got a wheelbarrow full of soulstones, and yeah, Miss Feng goes down. Kang's got the Ronin marked for death, but couldn't quite kill her, thanks to that hard to kill. It's really annoying that hard worker only ignores armour and hard to wound, grumble grumble. She hits him back in return and struts her stuff out of combat and to safety, since he's not going to be scoring any more inspection. And basically that's where we call it. I'm just going to be sitting here getting my final point for inspection, and there's nothing he can do to remove the rest of my models. I should have tried moving Kang up and shooting the Ronin with his much overlooked shooting attack. Can't remember if I got it to her last wound or not, but at the end of the day it would not have mattered. So there we go, that's the end of the game. Really cracking scenario. I'd love to give it another try. I really didn't play this very well, and my opponent took me apart quite handily. Well done, Joden. But it was still a really fun game, and I do like how simple and killy everything is in a Miss Feng list. I'll have to try harder to do her justice next time. The final scores. Joden the 13 Fates scored 4 points for extraction, 3 points for leave your mark, and 1 point for inspection. I scored no points for extraction, 3 points for inspection, and 2 points for mark for death. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I really suggest or recommend this Ozymandius scenario to you. Give it a go.